Damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
The Pitt Panthers are coming off a great 2021 campaign in which it was a historic season for them, one of their best seasons in program history. They went 11-3, were on top of the Pac-12, had a Heisman finalist, a Biletnikoff Award winner, and made it to a New Year's Six Bowl. And with spring football officially coming to an end, with all college football programs across the nation, Pitt football finds themselves as a hot topic right now in college football. This is because star wide receiver and Biletnikoff Award winner Jordan Addison is going to be possibly entering the transfer portal and accepting a big NIL deal from USC. Now the thing is, it was reported that he had this offer, but he's not in the portal yet, and people are saying he's going to be a Trojan. In today's video, I am going to be talking about the entire situation and my thoughts on the matter. Before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, as we are on the road to 10K. Now let's get into it. To start this video off, I am going to be talking about Jordan Addison a little bit as a player. He came out of the 2020 recruiting class for Pitt. He was ranked as a top 300 player and a 4-star player according to the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings. In the 2020 season as a true freshman, Addison would be an immediate impact player for Pitt, and he was one of the best freshmen in the nation, as in 10 games played, he had 60 receptions for over 650 yards through the air and 4 total touchdowns in that campaign. Going into 2021, Jordan Addison was expected to make a leap in his game, but not many people thought it was going to be as big of a leap as he really had. As in 2021, he had an amazing season, as in 14 games played. He had 100 receptions for 1,593 yards, averaging almost 16 yards per reception, 17 total touchdowns through the air. He was a consensus All-American, and he won the Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the best wide receiver in that season. After a great season in 2021, heading into the 2022 offseason, people were expecting Jordan Addison to be potentially a Biletnikoff finalist again, maybe even win the award. Nobody was really concerned for Jordan Addison, as no matter who the quarterback was going to be since they were losing Kenny Pickett, he was going to ball out. He was already balling out as a true freshman. He took a huge leap in his game as a sophomore, and that wasn't going to go away. He was a for sure top receiver, and Pitt fans were excited to have him back for another season. Everything seemed to be fine with Pitt and Jordan Addison during spring ball, but that would change very quickly, as right after spring ball would be done pretty much for every school in the nation, something would come out that Jordan Addison was apparently going to be transferring and accepting a huge NIL deal at USC, but he was still at Pitt. He never even entered the portal yet. And with Addison winning the Biletnikoff in 2021, when this news dropped and the fact that he wasn't even in the transfer portal yet, it took off like wildfire and officially became the talk of college football for the entire weekend, and it still is. When you see a lot of people's reaction to just this news period, it is very shocking, as this came out straight up out of the blue and something that nobody was expecting at all. And the people's first reaction when they hear this is that, is this tampering, and how is this not tampering? A big reason why people think it is tampering is because how can you accept an NIL deal from another school to play football for them before you even enter the portal? If he was in the portal and all this happened, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. People would talk about the entire NIL deal, how big it is, how big of a get it would be for the school that is getting him, but he is not in the transfer portal. And Pitt head coach Pat Narduzzi is not happy about this situation at all, as reportedly he called USC head coach Lincoln Riley to voice displeasure, and honestly, you can't blame him at all. I mean, look at it this way. Jordan Addison is their biggest target for their team and their best returning player from that 2021 roster. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, he accepts an NIL deal from another school before he's ever even entered the transfer portal. No matter what coach it is, in that situation, they're more than likely going to be mad. The deal that Addison allegedly agreed to with USC is that he would be earning $3 million, a house in Southern California, and a car. Now, it's worth noting, this is just a rumor. It's not fact, and it has not been confirmed by anybody. But if it is true, this has to be one of the biggest NIL deals so far. Although USC is more than likely offering a huge deal to Jordan Addison, they're clearly not the only team doing this, as it was reported that Kentucky actually offered him $800,000 for an NIL deal, and he actually declined it. And if there's more than one team doing it, there's two teams doing it, you can guarantee there's a lot more teams doing it as well. Honestly, if we're going to keep it real, there's probably a lot of players that have been in this similar situation already during the current transfer portal class for 2022 that have been contacted before they ever even enter the portal or even considered entering the portal because they could get a huge NIL deal at another school and that school let it be known. It really seems like Jordan Addison is just the real first example of all of this happening right now in college football. Because if one team's doing it to one player, you can guarantee a lot of other teams are doing it to many other players. When talking about this entire situation and potential other situations that have gone on so far, people bring up NIL, and people say NIL is ruining college football, which I do get the argument behind, but NIL, it is a great thing and it does need to stay. It just needs some regulations, as it seems like everyone is just taking advantage of the stuff that really hasn't been enforced yet. As yes, there is definitely some fishy things going on in college football with NIL collectives and players. The players should make money off their name, image, and likeness, but it really does seem like donors and collectives are taking advantage of the system overall. My entire thoughts on this situation is that USC and Jordan Addison seem to be public enemy number one to many college football fans out there. And I definitely do think it's really fishy, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that there's probably a lot of other teams that are doing this same exact thing to a lot of other players that I mentioned just a while ago, but USC is really the first one to not necessarily be caught, but the first one to kind of be brought up in this entire thing on a huge scale. It's going to be very interesting to see how all this stuff is going to end up for Jordan Addison and potentially USC. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, drop something down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this entire situation? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those post notifications. B. Kelly, out.